Economics, Standard 12, Unit 9, Fiscal Economics continued. There are two types of taxes, namely direct tax and indirect tax. A direct tax is referred to as a tax levied on persons' income and wealth and is paid directly to the government. We learned the merits and demerits of direct taxes. Let us learn today indirect tax. Indirect tax is referred to as a tax charged on a person who purchases the goods and services, and it is paid indirectly to the government. The burden of tax can be easily shifted to the another person. It is levied on all persons equally, whether rich or poor. Of course, types of indirect taxes. There are several types of indirect taxes, such as excise duty, sales tax, customs duty, entertainment tax, service tax, and so on. Excise duty, types of taxes. Types of indirect tax. So, under types of indirect tax, excise duty. Excise duty is payable by the manufacturers, who shifts the tax burden to retailers and wholesalers. So, it is payable by the manufacturers, but he shifts the tax burden to retailers and wholesalers. Sales tax. It is paid by a shopkeeper or retailer, who then shifts the tax burden to customers by charging sales tax on goods and services. So, second, sales tax. So, sales tax is just shifted by the shopkeeper to the customers on charging sales tax on goods and services. Thirdly, custom duty. Import duties levied on goods from outside the country, ultimately paid for by consumers and retailers. So, custom duty. Third, custom duty. And fourthly, you can just remember entertainment tax. Liability is on the theatre owners, who transfer their tax on the persons, those who go for cinema. So, the transfer of this tax is done by the theatre owners to the cinema goers. So, entertainment tax. And fifth, service tax. Service tax. So, service tax is done. It's charged on services that is rendered by the people. That is like example, telephone bill, insurance premium, such as food bill in a restaurant, and so on. So, service tax is also just levied as indirect tax on the customers. So, there are 5 important types of indirect taxes, many taxes, but 5 important types of indirect taxes, namely excise duty, sales tax, custom duty, entertainment tax, and service tax. Of course, like direct taxes, indirect taxes also has got its own merits and demerits. Merits and demerits. So, under merits, the first one is wider coverage. wider coverage. All the consumers, whether they are rich or poor, they have to pay indirect taxes. For this reason, it is said that indirect taxes can cover more people than direct taxes. For example, in India, everybody pays indirect tax as against just 2% of paying income tax. So, income taxpayers are only 2%, but all pay indirect tax. Secondly, equitable. The indirect tax satisfies the canon of equity. Equitable. So it satisfies the canon of equity. Now you can just remember when higher tax is imposed on luxurious goods used by rich people, it just comes under canon of equity. Thirdly, economical. Cost of collection is less as producers and retailers collect tax and pay to the government. The traders act as honorary tax collectors. So third, merits of indirect tax is economical. Economical. Cost of collection is less. And fourthly, checks harmful consumption. The government imposes indirect taxes on those commodities, on those goods which are harmful to health. Example, tobacco, liquor, cigarette, etc. They are known as sin taxes. Checks harmful consumptions. Harmful consumptions. So they have to pay a large amount for the tax, that is indirect tax on tobacco, liquor and so on. Fifth, convenient. Indirect taxes are levied on commodities and services. Whenever consumers make purchase, they pay tax along with the price. They do not feel the pinch of paying taxes. Whenever a consumer purchases a goods, he pays tax along with the price of that goods or the commodity. So he does not feel the pinch of paying taxes. So fifth, convenient. And of course, we have just seen the merits: wider coverage, equitable, economical, checks harmful consumption, and convenient. There are demerits of indirect taxes too. Under the demerits, the first important point is higher cost of collection. The cost of collection of indirect taxes is higher than direct taxes. The government has to spend huge money to collect indirect taxes. So, higher cost of collection. For collecting indirect taxes, the government has to pay huge amount of money. Secondly, inelastic. Indirect taxes are less elastic than direct taxes, as indirect taxes are proportional. So when we compare direct taxes with indirect taxes are less elastic, and they are just, the taxes are proportional. So inelastic nature. And third, the most important demerits of indirect tax is regressive. Indirect taxes are sometimes unjust and regressive in nature, since both rich and poor people has to pay the same amount as taxes irrespective of their income. So another important demerits of indirect tax is regressive. And fourth important demerits of indirect tax is uncertainty. The rise in indirect taxes increases due to the price and reduces the demand for goods. Therefore, the government is uncertain about the expected revenue collection. So Dalton says that under indirect taxes, 2 plus 2 is not 4. 2 plus 2 is not 4, but 3 or less than 3. So the government is uncertain about the unexpected revenue collection. So uncertainty. And fifth important demerits of indirect tax is no civic consciousness. As the tax is hidden in price, the consumers are not aware of paying tax. As the tax is hidden in price, the consumers are not aware of paying tax. So no civic sense, consciousness. So there are merits and demerits of indirect taxes. Under merits, wider coverage, equitable, economical, checks harmful consumption, and it is convenient too. Under demerits of indirect taxes, higher cost of collection, inelastic nature, regressive in nature, and uncertainty of the government to collect the revenue, and no civic consciousness among the consumers, no civic consciousness among the people. It's only because the tax is hidden in price and the consumers are not aware of paying tax. So there are merits and demerits of indirect taxes. Let us continue learning the differences between direct tax and indirect tax and the importance of GST in the next class.